Imagine being a broke teenager in the 90s, saving every penny to buy computer games when hardly anyone had them, only to have a so-called friend scam you out of every single one. Now imagine getting the perfect revenge, one that hits him right where it hurts, in front of his ultra-religious parents. That's exactly what I did. And even 30 years later, I still smile when I think about it. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted, a classmate, a co-worker, even a friend, hit that like button right now. And subscribe for more real-life stories, where karma doesn't just knock, it kicks the door down. Alright, buckle up, because we're heading back to the 90s. The 90s. No social media. No online game stores. If you wanted PC games, you had to physically hunt them down, or order them from abroad by mail. For a teenager like me, that meant saving up lunch money, begging my parents, and waiting weeks for a floppy disk to arrive. I wasn't just a casual player. I was obsessed. The Settlers, Doom 2, Monkey Island. Each game wasn't just entertainment. It was a ticket into another world. There were only a handful of us at school who even owned computers. My best friend and I formed a little underground exchange. We'd trade games, share copy protection codes, and make sure both of us could play without going broke. It was a tight, almost sacred arrangement. Midway through the school year, a new kid joined our class. Let's call him Mark. He was slick, confident, and he had something no one else had. An uncle who apparently owned a treasure trove of PC games. Mark swaggered into our little duo like he was doing us a favor. He bragged about the hundreds of titles he could access. He said things like, "You guys are stuck in the Stone Age. My uncle's got the real stuff." For two broke teenagers, it was like hearing a siren song. We offered to trade. We'd give him our originals, the precious, hard-earned games, and he'd copy them and return them in pristine condition, plus maybe slip us a new game or two. It seemed like a win-win. We even felt a little guilty, thinking we'd been hoarding our collection while this poor new kid was out of the loop. So we trusted him. Big mistake. At first, it was small things. A floppy came back with a corrupted file. Another with the copy protection missing. He'd shrug and say, "Oh, must have been a bad disk. I'll fix it next time." We wanted to believe him. We wanted to be the nice guys. But week after week, the pattern grew. Corrupted disks. Missing codes. Games returned in worse shape, if at all. Meanwhile, Mark was amassing our collection like a dragon hoarding gold. By the time we realized what was happening, it was too late. We'd given him everything. The Settlers, Doom 2, Monkey Island, dozens of hours of gameplay. And in return, we didn't have a single working game left. And Mark, he'd started mocking us, calling us suckers under his breath, showing off our own games to other classmates. The betrayal burned. It wasn't just about money, it was about trust, about being played. We were teenagers. We didn't know about small claims court or calling his parents. All we knew was we'd been wronged, and the hunger for payback started to grow. Here's where fate stepped in. Mark wasn't just a thief, he was a bully. He loved to mock my taste in music, especially Queen. Freddie Mercury, he'd sneer, "You like that gay singer." Every time he said it, I'd clench my fists under the desk. He came from a deeply conservative Catholic family. His mother was devout, his father strict. It was obvious from his behavior at school, and from how terrified he seemed of disappointing them. And then, one day, our entire class was taken to an AIDS awareness event. This was the early 90s, when AIDS campaigns were everywhere after Freddie Mercury's death. At the event, they handed out flyers about HIV, homosexuality, and safe sex. They even gave away condoms printed with the foundation's logo. Most kids giggled and stuffed them into their pockets. But when I saw that stack of materials, something clicked. My friend and I exchanged a glance. A silent understanding. This was it. Our opening. We were among the few kids in school with a computer and an inkjet printer at home. In the 90s, that was like having a personal printing press. That night, we sat at my desk, the glow of the CRT monitor casting eerie shadows on the walls. The printer hummed softly in the background. We pulled out the flyers and condoms from the event and spread them across the desk like evidence in a crime movie. "What if?" I whispered. We made it look like he wrote to the AIDS Foundation, like he's secretly asking for advice about being gay. My friend's eyes widened, and we sent condoms, and all the flyers, to his house. We both burst out laughing, but it wasn't mean-spirited laughter. It was the release of weeks of frustration, months of betrayal. We carefully copied the foundation's logo. The letter we drafted read, "Dear Mark's first name. Thank you for your letter. We understand it's difficult being open about being homosexual, and you have many questions after the event you attended with your class. Please find enclosed a flyer which should answer many of your questions, as well as some condoms. Please practice safe sex at all times." We made sure to address it to Mr. Mark's last name, so his father, the strict Catholic patriarch, would be the one to open it first. Then we packaged the whole thing, condoms, flyers, letter, sealed it up, and mailed it. Our hands were shaking as we dropped it into the postbox. Not from fear, from exhilaration. 6. The execution, waiting for the fallout. Then came the waiting. Days passed. At school, Mark strutted around as usual, oblivious. My friend and I tried to act normal, but we couldn't help dropping subtle questions. "Hey, you get any interesting mail lately?" We didn't have to wait long. One Monday, Mark didn't show up. Tuesday either. By Wednesday, rumors were swirling. Someone had heard shouting at his house. Someone else said his mother had been crying. Finally, Mark came back to school. His face was pale, his swagger gone. We overheard snippets from classmates. His parents were convinced he was gay. His mother had screamed. His father was furious. He'd been grounded for weeks. He looked at us with suspicion, but at first, he thought the letter was authentic, that the foundation had actually sent it. The beauty of the plan was its plausibility. It was everything we'd hoped for and more. Pause for effect. Slight chuckle in narrator's voice.